Hey YouTube, what's going on? This is PokeTCG Gamer here, and I'm back with another video. And in today's video, I'm going to be going over my Week 5 NPL Majors match, in which we are facing Murk, who is the coach of the San Francisco Regigiants. Murk is currently 2-2, and he is also in our division. This will be our third divisional match, the other two being Danza and David. We are currently sitting at 3-1, coming off of our first loss of the season with a plus 12 differential. And even after the loss, we are still sitting at first in our conference, which is pretty nice. So yeah, but this is still a very, very important match. Obviously, I don't want to go back-to-back losses in the middle of the season. So obviously gonna try to avoid that. But Murk's team is very, very, very threatening. This is 100% my toughest match to prep for of the season. No doubt in my mind. This is the first time this season that I've made multiple versions of teams. Usually, in the previous weeks, I'd just make one version and then just edit it around. But this time, I literally took an offensive approach to a build, and a defensive approach to a build. And just to tell you guys, as you can probably see by the first three mons, I took an offensive approach to this week. So let's just go over Murk's team. As you guys can see, his team consists of Tapu, Lele, Zapdos, Heatran, Kartana, Almamola, Mega Venusaur, Aerodactyl, Umbreon, Dugtrio, and Throw. His two Z-move users being Aerodactyl and Dugtrio. So yeah, with his offense of Kartana, Tapu Lele, Heatran, and even things like Aerodactyl and then Dugtrio trapping things, I just have a very hard time walling his team with a defensive team. Like originally, I had a team of things like AV Slowbro with things like Iron Tail to try and stop Tapu Lele. But even that, if he brings a Specs Tapu Lele, it's still hard for me to stop it with Slowbro because Moonblast is doing a ton of damage. And it's pretty spammable versus my entire team. Tangrowth, I can stop. It can stop things like Kartana. It's just the Tapu Lele throws a huge wrench into my plan with a defensive kind of build. I think if he didn't have the Tapu Lele, he had like some other psychic type like over that, I would have been able to get away with going with a defensive route. But I did not this week. I went with a full-out offensive approach, trying to break through his fat as well as checking his offense with certain mons. Like you guys will see later, I actually brung Hippopotas. Give me sand, give me a lot of speed versus his team. And the first mon I have is a Scarf Lycanroc. Give me something to check things like Kartana with Firefang, or Aerodactyl with Stone Edge, for example. Obviously, that's trapped by Dugtrio, but if I can catch him off with this Lycanroc versus Kartana, that would be nice. So before I get into my team, I know I've been rambling a little bit. I do want to go over my updated team entering week 5, just in case you guys are not aware yet. So we have Excadrill, Weavile, Gyarados, Tangrowth, Slowbro, Mega Altaria, Lycanroc Dusk, Golurk, Mienshao, Garbodor, Hippopotas, and we added Articuno as well. And Articuno, since we did have 2 leftover points for Z Pokemon, is now a Z move user. And I do want to also update you guys on the waiver I made entering week 6. So next week we are playing Blake, and I dropped Mienshao for Alakazam, and that is my last waiver. I can no longer change my team unless I do a trade. So most likely this will be my final team for the rest of the season. I want Alakazam just because my lack of like special breakers or just powerful special offensive mons was lacking on my team, and it showed in my prep this week. As you guys will see that I have 5 physical attackers and then an Articuno at the end. So yeah, let's just get into this build. I've been talking long enough. So first off, we have Lycanroc Dust with the Choice Scarf, Stone Edge, Firefang, Zen Headbutt, and Drill Run. We're outspeeding a Scarf Kartana with this. My idea is that he will bring a Scarf Kartana, and if he thinks that he can just stay in and click Leaf Blade or Smart Strike on my Lycanroc Dusk, I can kill him with the Firefang. Stone Edge, obviously, stab. Zen Headbutt hits things like the Mega Venusaur. And Drill Run was just to Oko Heatran. So that is pretty much it for my Lycanroc. It's a straightforward set. Obviously, Tough Claws with the ability and the speed outspeeding Kartana. Next up we have Gyarados. This week with the Dragon Dance, the Aqua Tail, the Bounce, and the Taunt with the Fly in MZ, and the Intimidate instead of something like Moxie. With the speed, we're hitting 257 speed, which I'm pretty sure is creeping, and it's creeping an Aerodactyl, creeping a Weavile when I'm at +1. So that's what the speed is doing. So we have the Taunt to stop things like Alamo from toxicking me, even though I predict he should have something like HP Electric if he brings Alamo. The Z-Fly just nukes things like Umbreon, +1 if it's Spadef, nukes Mega Venusaur, can nuke Kartana, obviously would nuke something like Lele. And Aqua Tail was just to have a very strong stab that would hit things like Zapdos extremely hard at +1. So if I have up rocks and he's now like a fully defensive Zapdos, Aqua Tail is going to be doing a lot of damage, obviously. And yeah, that's pretty much it for Gyarados. I could have went Jolly and outsped something like a Heatran without a boost, but I didn't really feel like that was necessary, and I did want the extra power of Aqua Tail over the Waterfall. In hindsight, I could have ran Waterfall, but I did want the extra power. So yeah, that's it for my Gyarados. Next up we have Extra. This week, actually utilizing the Sand with the Sand Rush and the Soft Sand for our item. We have Swords Dance, Rapid Spin, Rock Slide, and Earthquake. The EVs, obviously the speed, hitting 279. So that is outspeeding things like Heatran with no sand, and obviously with the sand up, I'm outspeeding everything on his team. And the Rock Slide and the Earthquake pretty much gives me optimal coverage versus his team. Earthquake hits everything except Aerodactyl and Zapdos, which Rock Slide hits. So that's very nice. Obviously, this is also my hazard remover this week. Going with a very offensive build. I still want hazard removal because I'm bringing things like Gyarados, and I have things like Articuno and Weavile coming up in my team. So I definitely want hazard removal. And I felt that if I have this thing in Sand, it could potentially do work late game if I can break with things like Gyarados and Weavile coming up in a bit. So yeah, that is it for my Extra. Next up, we have Hippopotas with the Smooth Rock and Sandstream. This is actually a last minute change. I actually did have Eviolite on this right before my game, but I changed it to Smooth Rock. Obviously, we have the Stealth Rocks, the Toxic, the Slack Off, and the Earthquake. So this thing is here to just obviously set the Sand, set rocks, and it is even with the no Eviolite. His Zapdos has to be offensive to actually KO me with something like HP Ice. If it's not, then I'll be able to set up rocks and Toxic it and beat a 1v1 if he wants to try and defog. So that's very nice. Obviously, this thing lets in Kartana for free, and I don't have the best Kartana switch-ins on this team. Obviously, I tried to go with a very offensive approach. But I do have things like Articuno, which can resist Leaf Blade, and then I also have two Smart Strike immunities. So if he's Scarf, he'll have to choose what he wants to lock himself into. So yeah, that is it for Hippopotas. Once again, straightforward, providing Sand for Extra to possibly sweep later. And I did go for the Smooth Rock just because I wanted as many turns of Sand for Extra as possible. And this gives me the best opportunity to not get trapped by his Duck Trio if he decides to bring it. So that is that. Next up we have Weavile with the Choice Band, max speed, max attack with the Adamant Nature. So I could have went Jolly this week, which would have possibly... I really just didn't need Jolly. I predicted that if he brought Aerodactyl, it was gonna be faster than me. And obviously I'm not outspeeding Doug Trio, and he could trap me. But my mindset there is, why would he trap a Weavile with his Doug Trio unless he knows like I'm locked into non-Ice Shard, and he calcs and he knows I'm adamant. For sure, but I don't think he would risk that unless he 100% knew. So yeah, this gives me the most power, and I still outspeed Kartana by 1 point with the max speed, so that is very, very nice. This thing also it's gonna Oko Lele with like a knockoff, for example, and in the same at the same time, if he switches out and if like rocks are up and he's at 88, and that come in with this, he's probably gonna be forced out unless he's Scarf. And if he's Scarf, obviously I won't go into this. But if he is not Scarf, he's probably gonna fear a bandit hit and switch out, and Pursuit is just gonna completely destroy Lele in that sense. So mainly why I have Weave out here to check his Lele. Obviously I have Extra that checks it in the sand, but I'm not always gonna have the sand. So yeah, my last mon here is Articuno with the Expert Belt, the Roost, the U-turn, the Freezer, and the Hurricane. Once again, outspeeding his Heatran. Obviously we can't hit Heatran, but just outspeeding it and U-turning is still nice. Obviously we have the Pressure. The Expert Belt just because I didn't really need any item, but this thing here, this thing is mainly to switch into his Mega Venusaur. Obviously we're pretty bulky, 90 HP and 125 base with def, so we are hitting 286 SPDF just without even investing in it. So yeah, my entire team doesn't like switching into Venusaur, even though some of the members can hit it pretty hard, and this thing can hit it hard and switch in. And U-turn was the Sly I wasn't super sure about. I had HP ground at first, but I decided to make a U-turn because this allows me to still get momentum on Heatran if he tries to bring it in, and as well as if I didn't have U-turn, I would just be a sitting duck for Umbreon to come in and just steal away my momentum. So if I have U-turn, I can just U-turn out if he tries to go Umbreon. So yeah, that is it for my team builder, guys. I will see you guys in the battle. And we are back, guys, and we have the battle versus Murk. As you guys can see, he brought the Mega Venusaur, the Zapdos, the Kartana, the Heatran, the Dugtrio, and the Tapu Lele. Pretty much everything I expected. I could have seen him leaving behind something like Dugtrio for some like Almamoa, but obviously Dugtrio still has uses in this game. Trapping things like Extra out of sand if I'm not Scarf, trapping things like Lycanroc pretty easily, which honestly is a pretty big menace to his team. If his Kartana's not Scarf, he doesn't have Dugtrio. And Alamo is just a passive mon, and Zapdos and Venusaur as a core still do a good job of just walling mons on my team. So he didn't really need to bring Alamo, just because of, like I said, pretty passive mon versus my team. So like I said, expected these 6 for the most part. But I'm just gonna start off this game leading off with my Gyarados. I pretty much thought he'd lead off with either Venusaur or Heatran, and Gyarados was nice versus both of those. Could potentially double out predicting Zapdos if he leads Venusaur, because obviously I think he would scout for the Z-Fly. And if he leads Heatran, it's a great spot for me. So let's just get into this. So I'm gonna lead off with Gyarados. He leads off with Heatran. Obviously, I'm just gonna click Aqua Tail here. There's no drawback. His water resists are Kartana and Gyarados, both of which, if Kartana comes in, I'll play around accordingly. If I doubt Venusaur would come in because he doesn't know my Z move yet. So I'm just gonna fire off an Aqua Tail. As right here, he stays in and hit Power Electric. So right away, that screams that he is either 1, he's Scarf, or 2, he is Sash. Because obviously Sash I think would be more likely, because if he was Scarf, obviously he wouldn't be able to kill me and he would die to a water move or an earthquake or something. So yeah, he hit Power Electric, doesn't kill me, and I miss my Aqua Tail. So if he is actually Sash, very big deal. I can't really do much about that miss. While it was unfortunate, it's not like, oh, this miss just lost me the game right away. I mean, Murk still had a very, very solid matchup. Even if I hit that and brought it down to Sash, he'd still be able to kill my Gyarados. But you guys are going to see the impact that has on my team right now. So I'm going to go into my Lycanroc Dusk as he hit Power Electrics again. And I probably should have just clicked Drill Run there, but even then that could have missed. But I kind of thought he would go into his Venusaur possibly. I guess even I don't know. He was Sash obviously, so that's why I stayed in. But missing that is now even bigger because now I have to sack 2 mons to kill this when I really should have just had to sack 1. I mean, now I have to sack basically 3 mons to kill this, because my extra is going to die right here as he lives on a sash, and my Lycanroc died, but if I hit the Aqua Tail, then just my Gyarados would have died, or even not even. I could have possibly went into Lycanroc, and still had all 6 mons. So just my team is super weak, and at this point I really have no win con. I need to go Gyarados to bring this down to a sash. I couldn't really do anything else. I could have sacked Weavile first, but hindsight 2020. So now I'm going to go into my Articuno. I'm just going to Freeze Dry, I think. Yeah, just Freeze Dry. As now he's just going to Moonblast. As I'm going to Hurricane, doing 44. And honestly, my commentary at this point is just kind of just dry because you guys probably know at this point this game is pretty much over. I'm going to pursue and kill this Lele. I do want to just say, obviously, I would not do something as crazy as blame hacks for this loss because obviously it was a tough matchup either way, and Murk definitely 100% probably would have still won this game if that turn 1 went a little bit better for me. But just even the Zen Headbutt miss would have allowed, if I landed that, would have allowed me to have my extra, which at this point was my best win con in this game. So I'm just going to go into my Articuno on this Venusaur, as he is just going to Sludge Bomb, bring me down to 1%, as now he's going to go into his Heatran, sack it off, as I just Roost, and now I'm going to just Freeze Dry again. And at this point, if he is a Scarf Kartana, he is pretty much going to win the game. I go into my toss, he Smart Strikes, crits, was 2 KOing anyway, and Smart Strikes again. And now, if he is Scarf, he wins. Even if he's not Scarf, he should still win. But as you guys can see, he is Scarf, and he is going to pick up 3 kills with his Kartana, and that is going to be the game. I was salty about this at first, but I believe that Murk would have won this game if I landed that Aqua Tail. His matchup was just unbelievably good. I tried to do as best as I can and prep to try and out offense his team. Obviously that didn't work, and we now fall to 3-2 with a +8 differential. But at this point, spoilers, we are still second in our conference because we're still ahead of Murk by differential, even though we had the same record. And then everyone else after Gypsy, me, and Murk, who is Gypsy is now in first, is 2-3. So next week we're playing Blake, who I believe I'm just gonna double check. I believe he's 2-3. As he is 2-3. So that's our next week opponent. I definitely want to be able or try my hardest to pull out that win. Obviously, losing 2 in a row doesn't feel great, but I believe I will still be able to bounce back. So that is it for this video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.